I'm Bretty.
What?
I'm Bretty.
No, I heard what you said. I meant more what the hell?
Oh, sorry, I was feeling a little bit crusty.
God, and so help me, Gogmazios, I will toast every fiber of your... Ladies, gentlemen, and
Monsters of all ages, welcome one and all to your regularly scheduled frequent excuse to hear me rant at high volume about things that people say, because sometimes people just be that way. Everyone has opinions, and generally speaking, everyone in the Monster Hunter community really likes Monster Hunter. So we tend to have opinions specifically about Monster Hunter. Some people, however, let their emotions get the better of them in the moment and phrase things in a way where a number of people may disagree with it or even consider it rude. Some people say stuff because they care, but are misguided. And some just say stuff for the sake of saying stuff. But the stuff is there. I see the stuff, and I think we as a community can do better to support the franchise that we all love, which I will do in this moment by mercilessly tearing down these thoughts and opinions and explaining why having a more optimistic view on life might make you feel a little bit better in the long run. That said, firstly, a quick disclaimer that I don't hate or even dislike any of the people who said these things. I just heavily disagree with whatever it is they happen to say in the moment. No hard feelings, I mean it. As well, if you get the same enjoyment that I do from angrily mumbling to myself over these takes, then have a follow over the bad Monster Hunter Takes Twitter account at MHTakes, who has been collecting a large number of people's bad takes on this series. Alright, Commander, if you'd like to get us started.
World is the ultimate Monster Hunter game, so I don't need to play the other crusty-ass games with 2001 graphics. Portable gaming is irrelevant, and it should not be a thing in 2021.
Oh, I'm sorry, this must be the king! You see, the king of everyone, in charge of the entire planet, whose personal experience and opinion speaks for every single individual on the planet. Who the hell are you to decide the relevance of portable gaming when you have absolutely nothing to back that up? In fact, slight Googling will tell you that the Switch and Switch Lite together have sold over 90 million units, which, yes, is less than the 120 million units of the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro, but it is very, very far from irrelevance. Gaming is evolving, not just in one direction, but in multiple directions at the same time, one after the other, all together. Stop viewing Rise necessarily as a competitor to World, and more as simply another wonderful entity in the same universe. And hey, for any of you who don't have a Switch out there, Rise is now confirmed to be coming to PC, and given the game can run on the Switch, I have to imagine you won't need a crazy high-end PC to run it when it eventually does release. So while it isn't quite reaching everyone, the game is going to be far more available to all than it was originally expected to be. As for your graphics complaints, I feel like I say this all the time, but the visuals of a game aren't all about the literal number of pixels on the screen. And there is something very specifically charming about the aesthetics of Rise and the style they are going for, and I absolutely cannot wait to immerse myself totally in that world, because guess what? I can immerse myself in a world that exists within a system that fits in my hand. Portable gaming is a wonderful thing, and I'm sorry for those who don't see that, but anyone getting Rise as their first portable Monster Hunter game, you're going to find some very wonderful things about it. If nothing else, the pause function just makes it so much easier to fit a hunt in at a random time solo. You can always press pause and just come back, which means you can start a hunt even if you only have a couple of minutes of free time and just come back to it later. And because it's portable, you can carry it with you. Do it when you're waiting around for a few minutes, just whenever time pops up in life. You can play the game if you want. Oh, it's just so wonderful. Commander? Wait, actually, director?
There's also the Remobra, which is a creature from some of the earlier games. It's like a cross between a hammerhead shark and a snake.
I'm sorry, Remobra? Did you say Remobra? For a second, I thought, no, maybe he was actually talking about Remobra and someone edited incorrect footage under it, but then he goes on to mention hammerhead sharks, and he definitely thinks it is called Remobra. He thinks Cephalos is Remobra. In the movie itself, the monster is referred to as a Cephalos, yet you, the director of the movie, the person entrusted with the franchise in film format, refer to one of the only 6 monsters present in your film by the name of a totally unrelated Monster Hunter creature. It's like someone being interrogated about something they didn't do, but they're so nervous they just start lying because they can't help it. Like, you didn't have to talk about these things off script. You don't have to try to be so specific about things if you don't know them to be a fact. This right here, this clip is, as I've already said, from promotional material. This went through multiple people and was decided to be good for the marketing of the movie. It might have even had more than one voice take to record it, and nobody noticed this. No one caught it. And that just shows me that while they may have taken in the advice and opinion of Monster Hunter players along the way, no one involved in any of the most important parts of this movie was truly that devoted to the franchise. It just makes me really upset, okay? Next one, Commander.
World has terrible endgame content and no gear to craft.
Sorry, did you play the same game I did? Because, wait, I should specify. This comment was made post-Fatalis, meaning even if you only count content released after Iceborne, you have Rajang, Stygian Zinogre, Safi Jiva, Master Rank, Kalv, Furious Rajang, Raging Brachydios, Eladrion, Frostfang, Barioth, Fatalis, and Arch-Tempered Velkhana, all released after Iceborne. This is all free, post-game DLC with gear worth farming at various stages in the endgame. You don't have to do every one of them, but you can, and it's fun to, and if you upgrade through them one at a time, you can get the same experience as hunters who played through as the game released. On top of this, before even considering this, there is the entire guiding land system, both in relation to augmenting your equipment, and especially as, once again, this comment was made after Fatalis was released, layered armor. Layered armor is awesome, and unlocking layered armor is done with guiding lands materials, so while it may not apply to every player, that section is a big endgame for some. Through the guiding lands, though, in the endgame, as in post-story, you unlock Zinogre, Young Garuga, Brute Tigrex, Gold Rathian, and Silver Rathalos, Scarred Young Garuga, and Runar Gigante. I don't get how you can go through a game as big as Iceborne, get to an endgame that expansive with that massive collection of free DLC and say, whoa, what a non-existent endgame. Like, what? Did you misunderstand the whole thing? Did you think the Fatalis was the end of the story? Did you think grinding to MR100 in the Guiding Lands to unlock Runar Gigante was all some weird convoluted mechanic to reach the next story cutscene? And that there is actually literally no endgame because that's all part of the story and the handler is just waiting to get herself cut in a pickle like she does all the time? And you just, hours upon hours, there's just more stuff to do. Sometimes I think things are a matter of opinion, but this generation of Monster Hunter, especially with all of the free post-release DLC, it's just so incredibly short-sighted to say that there is no endgame and no gear to craft. I don't see it. I don't get it. Commander?
In relation to Rise being announced for PC, god damn it, did World teach them nothing? How can you have so much success and still delay release for another year? Being able to transfer saves over would be the only thing that salvages this for me.
This is less of a bad take to me and more of a misguided take. A player I wish to sit aside and have a short talk with to see if I can change their thoughts. A few days ago, there was no confirmation of a PC version of Monster Hunter Rise. No legitimate reason to believe that there would be a way to play the game without a Switch. Now, we know that there will be. Sure, 9+ months after the original release, but at least it will happen. I can understand being upset about it, and I do understand being upset in this specific case, but I think especially in this context, you should turn that frown goddamn upside down and just be happy that it's now coming to PC. That tons of people who couldn't play it before will now be able to play it in the future. I've been reading tons of comments from various people who are unable to play Rise, understanding it more and trying to understand the way that they feel, and I've learned that there's a number of countries where simply due to the cost of importing a Nintendo Switch, it's more expensive than a pretty high-end gaming computer, especially in countries like this, under the assumption that a game designed for the Switch wouldn't require a particularly strong PC. This opens up the player base a large amount. It may not be perfect, but it's a step. It shows that Capcom is listening to what the community wants, and they are doing their best to accommodate given the situation at the time. I'm not saying don't be upset about needing to wait, but at least take that upsetness and keep it with a side of happiness that isn't happening in the first place, because this is the first portable Monster Hunter game to get a PC port. It's a step forward, not a step back, okay? Be happy. Capcom is listening to us. No. Alright everyone, I've been Cotton Dinosaur, and these have been my opinions about some of your opinions, if you can call them that, about the Monster Hunter series. Do you have anything to add to my points about any of these thoughts? Do you have any interesting takes on the Monster Hunter series yourself that you'd like to share? Like if you like the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet. Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.